So, hello everyone. Welcome to the event that the Global Partnership organized. My name is Bianca. I am the program manager for the Business Engagement Program with the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity. Let me thank you all for joining the webinar and for your interest in the work of the Global Partnership. We think this is a great opportunity to discuss the importance of engaging with the private sector, and I can't think of any better way than bringing a few concrete examples of companies that have started their journey implementing different approaches in their own businesses. We will have a very dynamic session today. We'll have a few presenters, some representing the local national initiatives that we work with, and they brought some concrete cases from companies. We will have some time towards the end of the session for some questions. So if you have any questions to any of the presenters, please feel free to use the Q&A box and send your questions through. I have a feeling that we allocated 15 minutes in case we don't have enough time to address all the questions. We might try to compile all of them, but we are trying our best to make some time for the interactions to happen. I just want to make sure that you all see my screen. If you could just confirm to me that you can see the screen.
Yes, for sure, Bianca.
Perfect. So just a few words on the Global Partnership. The Global Partnership is a network of networks coordinated by the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity since 2011. Our members are national and regional business and biodiversity initiatives that have representation in over 60 countries worldwide and are connected in turn to thousands of businesses of all sizes and sectors. We're going to bring these examples and how these initiatives, these national initiatives, have been supporting companies to embed biodiversity and nature into their business strategies and operations, and provide an opportunity to get a glimpse of the challenges, positive results they came across in their journey. And without any further ado, I'm happy to introduce our first case from the Brazilian Initiative for Business and Biodiversity, which is hosted by the Brazilian Council for Sustainable Development, today here represented by Henrique Luz. And he'll be joined by Letícia Guimarães from Vale, who will bring the company's perspective as well. Henrique, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bianca. You can go to the slide. I try to bring some concrete examples from what business are doing in Brazil, not only for conservation of biodiversity, but also for its sustainable use and the benefit sharing that we can achieve all the three objectives of the convention. I just bring the history between business and biodiversity in Brazil comes from a long way. I don't know if you know André Rebouças, and he's a good example of how the business already recognized the values in Brazil, as he was responsible for railways and shipyards, and also suggested the creation of a first national park. Do you have the slides? I only see the first slides. Just for them to. Can you pass the slide?
Yes. Can you see it?
No, I'm seeing the first slide.
Same for me now. We don't.
Yes, same for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have the first one.
Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. You can go back one. Yes. Okay, sorry.
Sorry about that.
André Rebouças is a Brazilian engineer and businessman, and he suggested the creation of a first national park in 1876. It was a long time ago. Since then, we have some examples even from before that as we relate business and biodiversity in Brazil. Also, I take the opportunity also to bring some of examples from other companies within our commitment. You can go to the next slide now. when we think about mitigation hierarchy, when we go beyond that, we can go not only mitigate, not only avoid, not only compensate, but also we need to transform, as we've heard from the presentation on GPPB meeting on from Science-Based Target Network, that we need the companies to act to transform this this agenda. And for that, we need to get the knowledge, we need to educate the population and provoke the awareness, and also to try to get the best practices through all the value chain with innovation and bringing the sustainable use of all the products. That is an important step. And also maybe one of the most important role, we need to involve, we need to engage with the communities as for these actions to be permanent in the territory. And also, so we have also to be with the communities. You can go to the next slide. I try to be brief for us to have the more example from Vale and Leticia. Today I have the pleasure to announce that we're launching this publication that to bring we congregate how companies have been contributing to the global biodiversity goals, and we analyze several information in public and from questionnaires and bring to you what Brazilian companies are doing regarding all these subjects. And you can go to the next slides. I brought here some of our main numbers. We see that most of them are already incorporating biodiversity within their corporate policies. And also here in Brazil, when we sum up the recovery areas and also the protected areas within our companies, we get to very large numbers, how they are contributing to this to these global goals. And as we talked before, we don't stop within the mitigation hierarchy. We need to involve also all the value chain and also the sustainable consumption and use of their products. And now I'd like to call Leticia to continue with our presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. First, I would like to thank the event organizers and the Brazilian Business Council for the opportunity. So Vale has been on a journey that transformed our environmental, social, and governance management in the last 2 years. We joined the Brazilian Business Commitment for Biodiversity last year, and we have a number of initiatives aligned with its goals. In addition to the CBED's commitment platform, several initiatives are also described in a specific document called Vale and Biodiversity that you can see in the screen, that will be available at the end of the month on our ESG portal on Vale website. So we had set ambitious targets. Next slide, please. In our 2030 agenda, we focus on reducing negative impacts and improve positive impacts, aligned with our commitment to become carbon neutral by 2050. This agenda is also aligned with the SDGs and reinforce our commitment to biodiversity conservation and environmental recovery with the first target. Recover and protect 500 and 1,000 hectares beyond our borders, a challenge focus on established partnerships for local development. So Vale already has a relevant role in forest conservation. Next slide, please. And today we help to protect more than 900,000 hectares, area 11 times larger than the area occupied by our operational sites. Almost 50,000 hectares of these areas are in Atlantic forest and more than 80% in Amazon, such as Carajás National Forest that you can see. where we support management, security, ecosystem protections, infrastructure, environmental education, research. The Vale Institute of Technology, a research institution supported by Vale, operates in several lines in Amazon region, sharing knowledge in more than 600 articles published in recent years. These include the unprecedented study of the plants of Carajás iron ore grasslands, which has been the subject for more than 100 researchers from 30 institutions in Brazil and abroad. As a result, the Carajás region now has one of the best studied concerning flora in the country, and it's a reference has a reference DNA barcode library, which contributes to its conservation strategy. To combine the combination of scientific and traditional knowledge has been the path to the Jaborandi Conservation and Sustainable Use Project in Carajás. Can you pass for another slide, please? Jaborandi is a plant that is the only natural source of pilocarpina, a chemical substance used in treatment of disease such as glaucoma. And the leaves extraction is a source of income for families associated with the cooperative of extractivists. Consolidating a long-term partnership between the cooperative, environmental agency, universities, the Vale Institute of Technology is working on mapping occurrence areas, DNA sequence, genetic diversity, and management strategies for these species. The Vale Fund, an investment fund created to generate positive social and environmental impacts, support mechanisms to promote and strengthen the business. Vale operational sites provide training and are the largest buyers of seeds of various native species, also collected by this cooperative and used for habitat restoration. Today, there are 39 families benefit from this work, all based on forest conservation. This is one example of several successful partnerships focused on increased knowledge, local development, and the generation of shared value, aligned with the global agenda for biodiversity, valuing the three major objectives of the convention: conservation, sustainable use, and benefit sharing. So it's this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leticia, for the insights. They're very useful. Oh, we started having questions already, so we're gonna, as I said, save them for later on. But thank you very much. So now I would like to call Mr. Luciano from Nicofruta, Luciano Nicolis. He is also going to speak on behalf of the Biodiversity Partnership Mesoamerica. Welcome, Luciano.
Thank you, Bianca. Buongiorno, my name is Alessandro Nicolis, and I'm participating today on behalf of our company, Nicofruta. I would first like to say a few words about Biodiversity in Partnership Mesoamerica, member of this global partnership in a region of 8 countries. As we face the danger of climate changing, the biodiversity loss, BPM is dedicated to providing solutions that involve business. Collaborations and exchange of experience are essential to achieving this aim. BPM's members includes multinational, small business, and indigenous cooperatives. We are proud to be a member of BPM, and to be on BPM's boards. And now I will tell the story about our experience. On this first slide, the first. Okay, thank you. On the first slide, you will see a principle which is important to our company, Nicofruta: farming with respect for nature and the community. Next, please. Thank you. Who are we? Nicofruta is an Italian family business founded in 2004 by my father, Luciano Nicolis. We import pineapple and sell to European retailers. We have always worked with the cooperatives of small fair trade producers. In 2017, we bought a farm in Costa Rica and set up the company Nicoverde. our own pineapple farm and packaging plant enable us to give technical assistance to the 120 producers associated with us. And next, please. This is a picture of our farm in Costa Rica. You see pineapple fields, but also the tropical rainforest. 30% of our farm is protected forest with a great biodiversity. Next. Thank you. Collaboration and community are very important for us. We share the high quality and production standard which we apply on our farm with all associated producers, and they are committed to comply with them. We guarantee technical assistance and support at every stage of production, up to export of the goods. We have a new collaboration with a cooperative in the Dominican Republic with 160 producers and 1,000 hectares in pineapple production. Right now, our technicians are visiting them and providing technical assistance. The first container leaves the Dominican Republic this month, and I will be there. In 2017, we joined BPM and contribute as a member of the board. We also collaborate with the University of Costa Rica and the University of Milan in research and development and training of the students. Concerning COVID-19, with the outbreak of the pandemic, we immediately took measures to protect our staff and their families. We were the first company in Latin America to apply a COVID prevention protocol. We did this in collaboration with the University of Valencia, and this was certificated by Kiwa auditors. And next. We believe in innovation. We aim to reduce the use of chemical products substantially. In 2019, we established our own laboratory to produce organic products for pest and disease control and to maintain soil fertility. On the photo, you see our technician Mylin in our laboratory and some of the biological products we manufacture to replace chemicals. We also adopted the use of drones for application of these products. Drones use 16 liters of water per hectare compared with 350 liters when a tractor is used. As you can see from the graph, we have reduced the use of pesticide of 77% compared to the conventional cultivation, and the green color represents the biological products. Next, please. Concerning biodiversity, we face two challenges: changing attitudes and achieving conservation results. Our partnership with Germany's GIZ in Europe Farm to Fork project has been an excellent experience. We've seen our supplier farm on the right of the screen includes the words, "We produce quality fruit protecting biodiversity." The diagnostic system biodiversity check for agriculture is an effective tool to define an action plan. We use this on our own and on supplier farms. And for us, biodiversity conservation means protecting and restoring our forest, our water resources, and wildlife, conserving the biodiversity and fertility of our soils, educating our employees and suppliers. Next, please. Okay. As you can see from this slide, we have many certifications, the results of independent audits. We constantly submit our work to verification by external bodies, including Rainforest Alliance and Fairtrade. This is important for our customer in Europe and in the United States. Next, please. Yeah. Thank you. our vision for the future. We believe in the importance of developing a better way to grow pineapple, which provides for farmer high quality and productivity and improve income. For small growers, a good solution. For retailers and customer, a better product. And for nature, conservation of the biodiversity of tropical nature. And what is our ambition? To share our experience with pineapple farmer and other farmer, and to contribute farming with respect for nature and the community. Next, please. Okay, just one note, we welcome your question and we'll be happy to respond in writing should I be unable to answer them. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think that now I would like to call Claude Fromageau, who is the lead person for the French platform. He's also very much involved with the French Initiative on Business and Biodiversity, and he's also the head of the Sustainable Development for the Yves Rocher Group. Claude, can you hear us? Can you join us? We cannot hear you. Claude?
Yes, I am here.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Bianca, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce to you all the French platform OA. And with the French example, I would like to emphasize the momentum we are in. And for me, what is important to say is the stakeholders are all committed as if they were dancing at the same time to tackle the biodiversity issue as politics, territories, framing the way action must be operated, but academics at the same time are developing scientific research, companies and bankers are implementing new processes, and the pledge, commitment, and are flourishing. Then the NGOs at the same time with consumer and citizen are changing the people mindset we are in. And next slide, please. The next slide, if you, yeah, thank you. As you see, the French platform is alive, and we have the chance to watch and learn within a kind of constellation of organization. And there is OP2B, French UCN, the CARE model for new accounting. But today we want to focus on the French Office for Biodiversity and its large management. For me, it's a great pleasure to introduce to you Audrey Corot from the French Biodiversity Agency. She's directrice for stakeholders and citizen mobilization, and she will show you some very important example. Audrey, please.
Thank you very much, Claude. Can I have the next slide? Yeah, I wanted to present to you today the French initiative to mobilize and to make businesses act for biodiversity, which is called Entreprises engagées pour la nature in French, and which can be translated by Act for Nature France, which is the little sister of Act for Nature International. Some of you may know about the larger initiative led by Entreprises pour l'environnement. Our French initiative is embedded in a larger one, and as Claude already said, we not only focus on businesses, but also on local authorities and on NGOs and even on citizens to make everybody act for biodiversity and make a step further. It's an initiative which asks everybody to take action from the situation where he is to make a further step. The initiative is built with some tools to to build significant and effective action plans, which is also based on a fair assessment of the action plans. Are they significant? Are they significant for the core of the business, and are they effective in tackling biodiversity issues? It's also an initiative for the promotion of best practices and for sharing experiences for B2B or from businesses to local authorities and to NGOs. Can I have the next slide, please? You can see here that you have several steps. First, the CEO of the business signs 10 common principles, and it's the same principles as the ones written for Action Nature International. That's why I was saying it was brother and sister initiatives. Afterwards, the business is writing an action plan, and smart action plan, and at least one action has to refer to the core activity of the business. 2 years later, the action plan has been implemented and is assessed by experts and by also other businesses. We have a peer-to-peer assessment of these action plans, and the quality of these action plans is acknowledged with 3 levels: first step, second step, and third step. And afterwards, the business can renew its commitment and continue to improve its biodiversity action plan. Next one, please. Yeah, next one. Here, we have some action tools. To gain visibility, we also are going to go as close as possible to companies and businesses in all regions of France. And we are co-organizing events during the whole year of 2020 with the difficulty of the COVID disease, but with electronic and events. And we will continue this year to talk biodiversity with businesses on different levels, on the local levels and also on national levels. And we will have a particular focus during the World Nature IUCN Congress, which will be held in September in Marseille, in France. And we will gather, if possible, all committed businesses in a single event to share experiences and practices. And on my last slide, please. You can see here that more than 100 companies have already joined the initiative, and among those 108 companies, 26 of them have designed already their action plan, and you have all the names in this slide, and you can maybe know some of them because some of them are very large groups and international groups. But the small ones are also very, very important because the biodiversity issue can also only be tackled if even small businesses do take action towards biodiversity. And we have also more than 200 local communities engaged and more than 25 NGOs and networks with us to take biodiversity action all over France. And that's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Audrey. As a member of a French company, Groupe Rocher, I am working in, I am proud to share with you something very new for us, a new barometer. It is today for me an opportunity to offer a kind of teasing, if I can say, because the barometer is launched, published officially in some days, March the 18th probably. Next slide, please. If the objective of that barometer is to, precedent one, is to assess the connection to nature for people in 19 countries. 1,000 people have been committed to answering a specific questionnaire concerning the feelings they have, the kind of time they spent in nature, the role of education as a kid, etc., etc. And we are associating BVE, a large professional organization, to apply such a study. And the results are very interesting. We will share and publish that in some days. But The first dimension is there is a massive need to be more in contact with nature worldwide and more frequently. And we assess that contact with nature is correlated to a significant feeling of wellness, not only when in nature, but in the entire life. Another dimension is crucial, the confidence in his proper life, in his country, in the planet, in line with the personal link to nature. Then for us, that reveal a very strong and important dimension. Then we decided to create an international index. The idea is to create something that demonstrates how people reconnect. It aggregates 3 dimensions: the attachment and contact with nature, but the knowledge of nature too. Attachment is very important, contact with nature is important, but the knowledge of nature is important too, because there is direct effect of that issue. Knowledge and understanding of biodiversity, spatial, forest, soils, ocean, or living forms are essential for people to feel in contact. Then the last things I want to say is something essential is a consistent answering around the importance of the sociality. People feel having a real experience with nature when they are with the sense, sensorily committed to nature. Then it was it could be my conclusion. I would say sharing with other experts such an amazing experience is important within the GPBB, and we will bring on the table this kind of experience, and I'm very happy to share it with you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Claude. Maybe we can organize something also together to make sure that we share the information from the barometer with a wider audience in the future. I would now like to kindly invite Mr. Suhas Bude, who is representing BioCare Private Limited, a company based in India and associated with the India Business and Biodiversity Initiative.
Thank you. Thank you, Bianca, and my colleague Shamla. Presentation.
Can you see your slide? Dr. Bude? I cannot hear you. Maybe you can you try to connect your audio setting again?
Am I audible, Bianca?
Now you are. Yes, you came back.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Bianca, and my colleague Shamla. We are member of IBBI, the Indian Business Biodiversity Initiative. This is initiated by the Ministry of Environment and Forest and hosted by CII. And CII is Confederation of Indian Industries, which is the largest association of the businesses in India. This business-led initiative is the main objective is to mainstream biodiversity in Indian businesses. So at now, presently 40 businesses are signatory to initiative and 13 stakeholders are the organizations. As a IBBI member, we contribute to almost 4.5% of the India GDP, and this requires to be changed because this is a 2019 this thing. We also closely work with CBD on business. We are as an executive member of CBD, and we are also a member of CBDs on mainstreaming the biodiversity. So this is the only initiative in India which is a business-led national initiative. So we as a company, BioCare, are part of this initiative. Next slide, please. Next slide, Bianca.
Can you see the slide changed?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
So these are the companies which are the member of our listing. So I am a founder of this company called BioCare, and since last 20 years we are in this business of sustainable agriculture, and we are talking about nurturing soil for the future since last 20 years. It really did not make sense 20 years back, but now I think we are getting traction in all spheres of the agriculture now, because when 20 years back, when we used to talk about soil health and soil improvement and soil enhancing products, so that time the customers were really clueless about what we are talking about. Next slide, please. So we started somewhere around 2000, and it's almost 20 years back. We are into agriculture, and our main motto is to build soil, because we always felt that there's a lot of research which is happening in the space of agrochemicals and maybe varietal cultivars and all, but there's hardly anything which the study has been done to improve the soil, which is one of the major media in which you are going to cultivate the crop. And also soil hosts almost quarter of the plant's biodiversity, and we as a company feel that the agriculture biodiversity is very essential to the climate resilient agriculture, and diversity increases the soil fertility. And our experience is that once you have organic agriculture and the improved soil, then the impact of the pest and the impact of the diseases are less on this. Next slide, please. So we are based out of central India. Our major work happens in central India, which is also one of the largest cotton growing in the areas of the world. This is an interesting slide we want to emphasize, because this is a core of our value in BioCare. And we in BioCare feel that the soil can mitigate the climate change, and we are trying to connect these dots through this methodology of ours. So what do we as a company feel that we have to teach the photosynthesis again to people, because somehow we are trying to link photosynthesis to climate change. So what we are essentially saying in the left hand side of the arc, if you see that, you know that there's a reduction in the plant biomass, and that essentially will reduce the photosynthesis. And what it does is that reduction of carbon uptake and manufacturing oxygen. So you know the plants take up CO2 and release oxygen to the air and carbon to the soil. So what we are saying that if the photosynthesis reduces, then the organic carbon content of the soil will reduce. And once the organic carbon percentage of the soil is reduced, then you have a nutrient disruption in the soil, and that's where you have to put a lot of fertilizers to enhance the fertility. So once you start putting a lot of fertilizers into the soil, there's a reduction of the infiltration and retention of rainwater in the soil. So what we are essentially saying that because of the excessive use of chemical fertilizers, the reduction, the soil gets very hard, so the infiltration and the water holding capacity of the soil reduces. So once you have the less water retention capacity of the soil moisture changes. And once the soil moisture changes, it changes the relative humidity. And once the relative humidity is changed, there is a change in weather, and change in weather would be a change in climate. So we as a company want to reduce and want to get into this particular aspect where there is a reduced fertility, and try to reverse it through of our products, which are biological product, which we are a research based company. Since last 20 years we have been researching on the soil microorganism, the chemical physical parameters of the soil, and we are trying to develop a product which can help farmers to mitigate and to make more resilient on this. So this is our core value BioCare as a company. Next slide, Priyanka, please. So as a part of I mentioned this that soil is very important, and in crop production we are also talking about the soil host and quarter of plants biodiversity. So this particular initiative which we are presenting right now to you is an initiative with the ginning companies which we are doing. This has been supported by Netherlands Enterprise Agency to us, and they are trying to create a value chain, organic value chain, because we as a company felt when we were trying to push the farmers and farmers cooperatives to the organic bandwagon, we felt that unless and until we try to create a value chain for farmers, it's absolutely not possible to sustain the organic agriculture. So in this way, we are trying to make a sustainable value chain in organic. With the help of Netherlands Enterprise Agency, they are trying to create sustainable value chain for cotton for their companies which are based out of Netherlands right now. Next slide, please. So this initiative we are trying to develop with the ginning facility also, because traceability is one of the major issues when it comes to organic products, especially from countries like India, where there's hardly any knowledge to the stakeholders of how to get the certification and fair trade certification and other international organic certification. So we are helping right now in this project. As a company, we are helping in terms of input, we are helping in terms of certification, we are helping in terms of the farm management practices and the buyback of the produce also. This is we just started last year. COVID has impacted this project, but within 4 years we want to impact 25,000 farmers, and these are essentially small farmers which are having a very small land holding in India, and we essentially feel that it's very easy to push the small farmers to the organic box. Next slide, please. So besides cotton, we are also trying to develop a complete value chain for rice, soybean, pulses, and spices, which are one of the GIs of this region. The cotton initiative has started. Cotton and pulses has started because in India, amongst the cotton, you take pulses as also one of the intercrops. While we were studying on the field in this region, we found out that there's almost 150 species of the vegetables which these farmers were growing. They no more grow this kind of a species now, so we are trying to re-establish, trying to commercialize those species, those varieties for farmers. So that's what we are trying to establish, and we feel as a company that the creating of value chain is very important if you really want to address the issues of farmers. Next slide, please. So as a company manufacturer, this is what we do in the BioCare Sustainability Center, which the Organic Cotton Center has just come up. So we are doing the input, we are doing the certification of farms, we are giving agronomical services in the processing, harvest handling, management, certified warehousing facility, because this will enable small farmers to get loans against the warehouse receipt, pre-processing facility. The only way we have been pushed to the other processing and other things is that we feel that unless until we create a value chain, it's extremely difficult to sustain and give some premium to the farmer growers of this region. Right. Next slide, please. So this is the banquet service. So maybe next slides, that would be the last slide. And though this is from my end, friends, thank you my fellow panelists, Bianca and Shamla, for having a patient listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's very enlightening to see how you guys are working on the ground with the subject of biodiversity. We did already receive a few questions. So if I could just make the most of having you, Dr. Silis, a question came in from Mr. Didier Babin. He acknowledges that these are good examples, but he was just wondering from your perspective, maybe Shamala can help as well. What would be, the help that companies need to actually make the transition in accordance to the new global goals that will be set with the global biodiversity framework? What do you think are the main things that the Indian Business and Biodiversity Initiative can help you with in order to expand, these programs and to be able to be more sustainable, even more sustainable coming the next decade?
So can I take this, Shamla?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in IBBI, we're trying to sensitize, because most of our stakeholders are not even sensitized that their businesses are dependent on the biodiversity. And even the larger, when we talk to larger corporates, they say that they are not really dependent on the biodiversity as such, because they say that supply chain is taking care of that. So as a IBBI, we're trying to do a lot of initiative, because this one of the act which is there in India is Biodiversity Act, which is the most misunderstood act in the country. So we as an initiative are trying to disseminate this to a lot of people, especially when it comes to the small industries. It's extremely difficult to make them sensitized to this fact. But I think if we are able to handle them, we could try to tell them that what is the importance, because say in an Indian context, we are a herbal manufacturing hub for the world now, because of our Ayurveda and all. So this has put in a lot of pressure on our herbs or biodiversity in the forest. But if you talk to a larger manufacturer, then they would say that we are not directly harming the biodiversity. The supplies maybe, and this is where we feel as to sensitize both of them. We require to sensitize the larger companies. We require to sensitize the small companies who are in the supply chain and the procurement of this, that the scientific way of harvesting has to be implemented. So I don't know I am able to answer the gentleman's question, but then I'm trying to, yeah.
Thank you very much for your insights. I don't know if Shamala wants to complement in any way. Nope.
Yeah, just want to add. So I agree with what Dr. Suhas has said. In addition to that, it's very important to bridge the gap that's there between the operational level management as well as the senior level management. At the same time, it is important to involve everybody into understanding biodiversity and then how to integrate into your actual practices. That's what is lacking right now in most of the businesses. And until and unless this gap is bridged, it is difficult to, get larger participation with respect to mainstreaming biodiversity. Thank you, Bianca.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shamala. Another interesting question came in for Mr. Alessandro Nicolis. So the question is, apart from certifications, how do you see the use of other measures, non-tariff measures? I think we're talking here maybe about regulation and regulations from countries that actually buy your products. So is there any insights that you could share with us how these measures can influence the way your business actually reacts?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. And we have our production protocol. We work in this from 10 years. And in these years, we found the street we know that there is a lot of streets to go, but we open this vision, we open the street for find a limit when where the human can be crossed. For example, our use of biological products that we our own produce in our laboratory, and we do many classes for all producers associated to us to use these products is have a good effect on the biodiversity, on the health of all population there, all worker, and clearly all with the consumers of the products. We hope that in the future this matter will be always more present, and we are completely open in this. We collaborate with the University of Costa Rica, University of Milan, and University of Valencia, for example, for the QA certification about the COVID-19. And to be members of BPM is for us a way to share the information with all partners and all farmers and all people that wanted to learn this method, this green method for produce.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Bianca,
yes, sure.
Yeah, I think that yes, the regulation, if well done, is able to make a great move. For example, in France, we have at the moment the relaunch plan with a large amount of impulsion directive concerning the plantation of hedges in the countryside, and we attend a large movement of companies, of NGOs, of people replanting hedges for the farmers, for the small villages. And I don't know if it will be very successful, but because there is some side effects. But the regulation is for sure a very important lever to make change at the regional scale.
Yeah, and to reduce chemical, to reduce chemical is very important. For an example, a stupid example, but very important, the fertility of the soil, because the soil is life, and for this reason we have to protect and to protect for our sons.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we still have time for one question. So if I could get Leticia and Enrique, maybe the one question that came about, maybe even the others could jump in if you feel like, because I think this is a question that could fit in with all of you. We are talking about all these agendas, the 2030 agenda, the 2050 agenda. But the provocation here is maybe the urgency is too great, and how can we overcome that if we have these, deadlines in 10 years time, in 20 years time? But how can we start addressing the urgency right now?
Yeah, I think we need to accelerate the actions. We already do a lot, but we need to accelerate. And as we talked, we need to transform our way of doing things. And also, we can't leave a part of combating illegal activities because it is still our main cause of loss of biodiversity, at least in Brazil. So I think we need to reverse by now the loss of biodiversity, and we can only do this together and also addressing all the issues of conservation, the issues of the sustainable use, and engaging with the communities, because we need the benefits to go back to them, for them to understand that it's better for everyone to keep our biodiversity. Do you have any comments, Letícia?
Oh, yes, we are doing our best, but it's not enough. I know that. So I think the solution is act. We have to act. And as I said before, we are working along lines that I consider very important to act, to support the biodiversity agenda and have results, better results. We have to reduce negative impacts. Like a company, we need to work on that. We have knowledge, we have technology, and we need to potentialize, to improve this, as the best we can. And we have to restore and recover is the way, because we cannot stop with in the time that we need, so we can restore and recover more and more, working in the best for this. And knowledge and collaboration, just like this kind of collaboration, the global partnership and the Brazilian partnership, it's very important to act and share knowledge for all can act together. So this. Thank you.
If I may add something, Bianca, the IPBS said that transformative changes were necessary to tackle biodiversity crisis, and all stakeholders are responsible for taking action towards these transformative changes. And it's really an urgency, but also a large responsibility for everyone, and businesses are beginning to move towards such changes and big changes. But I think what's also important is to acknowledge that it's not positive for everyone. Some sectors will decline because their impact on biodiversity are too huge to continue as they are doing now. And if we want to achieve such a transformation, we also have to imagine the social and economical issues, and to say, well, your sector have a huge impact, so we have to close businesses, we have to close industries. But let's see, here there will be employment, here there is some solutions to reconsider your activity and to offer people some perspective in a way, and to find the good tools to make people and businesses go from where they are now to other kind of activities. In some sectors, you just have to decrease impact, but in other sectors, you have to completely change the way the businesses is thought and the way we are thinking about what's the economic activities. And last point, you also have to convince banks and investors that biodiversity is an issue, and it's beginning. Climate was not an issue 15 years ago, and it's now really important. And for biodiversity, I think we also are beginning to convince investors and banks that it's an issue and that they have also to take their part in the changes we are focusing on. So the way is still long, but I think we're on it.
Perfect. That was actually the perfect ending for the discussion here. I'm very sorry that we don't have any more time. We're at the top of the hour. I would like to thank everyone who took the time to join us. Thank our panelists for showing leadership and showing the efforts that they have been making and the success they have been achieving with all the initiatives that they've been taking. We hope to see many more of those in the coming years. I invite you all to have a look at the action agenda for nature and people, where you can register commitments for biodiversity ahead of the COP15. We're going to be looking at those commitments into the next decade. There are plenty of other partnerships and platforms that are working on the ground right now, like the Act for Nature, like the ORE, and all the efforts from the Brazilian initiative, the India Business and Biodiversity Initiative, and many others. So I would like to thank you all. Thank you for the questions as well. I hope to organize more of those opportunities, and I will certainly invite you all to join. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bianca.